Hello my friends, this is Kim. Today I'm going to go over how I make sure to use up as much as possible so I have very little food waste. Now if you saw one of my previous videos that I did earlier this week, you know that I bought a lot of meat for the upcoming year, or half year I should say, because they do a sale twice a year in my area. While I did that, I made sure I organized and inventoried my freezers. These are my chest freezers, and this is everything I have out in those freezers. Because anything that was older out there, or the seal that broke on the bags, or it looked like they might be getting a little freezer burn, I brought into the house because I want to use that before I touch any of this. So I put myself a list here. I'm going to inventory my little freezer that's on top of my refrigerator. And then I have a section that says, use it up this week. These are things that I know need to get used as quick as possible. For example, I have a little bit of bread here that the guys already got into a new loaf of bread, so I know they're not going to come back and eat this. I'm going to make sure that I use this. Tonight we're having meatloaf for dinner, so very possibly some of this will go in the meatloaf. And what doesn't gets cut into cubes to use as stuffing later, okay? Then I have use soon. This is what I need to use in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then some things that I absolutely know I'm not going to get to, or that are more for long term, which I have some bacon. I was supposed to take down to my kids, but I have been very sick, so I'm not going to go expose anybody. And I know I have some celery, but I also have some onions, and out in my garden I have carrots, and I like to have vegetables prepped and ready to go for meals, so I'll probably make a few bags of this up to make sure that the celery doesn't go bad. I wanted to give you a basic shot of my freezer. It's not as well organized as outside. I do have something of a system. Normally I keep like my meats in one level or the other, and the other miscellaneous stuff. But I really just kind of tossed a lot of this in here when I did my freezer inventory. The other thing this allows me to do is to clean it. You can see it's gotten kind of gross in there. Inventory of the freezer, I also look in my refrigerator, and I look for all those little things like in the door here. I have, for some reason, there are 3 bottles, partial bottles of ketchup, because once again, it gets to a certain level, the guys don't use it. I have some salad dressing that could get used up pretty soon. I have some leftovers from this week, which obviously need to get eaten. So I'll make sure that these are more my style, so I'll eat these, one for lunch and one for lunch tomorrow. And I look at anything else that needs to get used. There's some perfect time to clean out my refrigerator while I'm deciding what my meal plan is going to be for the next week, or possibly week and a half to 2 weeks. All right, so I have my freezer done, and it's organized so I know where to find everything, and I'll show you my inventory in a second. This is all of my meats and proteins, things that my nephew, he likes those taquitos, he can grab and go. I have the stuffed cabbage casserole in here that I didn't realize I still had, and 2 of the fried rice packs that I made yesterday. Up here is fruits and vegetables, and I listed some of my veg that needs to get used up because it's getting a little freezer burn, so that's on my list to use this week. But it gives plenty of room if the guys bring home a carton of ice cream or a pizza or something like that. It'll fit in here. That's why I kind of like to leave this one as my working freezer. I need to show you my inventory and how I do things. So I have 9 packs of chicken. That's a lot of chicken. So that's going to be used up in the next 2 weeks for sure. I have a turkey tenderloin that may or may not be used for Thanksgiving. I haven't decided. I have 2 packs of ground turkey, 3 packs of ground beef. I have some pork chops, steak tips, Italian sausage, some kielbasa, etc., etc. So this is everything that we have in the freezer above the refrigerator. These are the things that I said I want to use up. I have some frozen beans, frozen pea pods, and a couple of potato patties. So I want to make these for dinners this week. I have 4, these are individual servings of pumpkin soup. I don't want to leave it too long, so it's in my use up soon. And then you already saw what needs to be frozen. So there we go. There is my freezer inventory for my small freezer. I will link below my large freezer inventory if you want to see that and how I organize it. And I'll come back in a little bit and show you how I got the refrigerator done. All right, my friends, I have the door of the refrigerator all organized. You can see we have a lot of stuff in there. But this area up here, from this almond milk over, are things that I plan on using up. With this has to get used up this week. The almond milk I should use up this week. And the rest of it is going to get used up within the next week or week and a half. The rest of this is all more long-term stuff. There's, mayonnaise and things like that. So, it's important for me when I'm cleaning this stuff out to make sure I know what I have, because then I can meal plan around it. I managed to get the rest of my refrigerator done, but what I did was I put everything that I know I need to get used up sooner rather than later right here in front of my face, so when I make up my meal plan, I can plan around these items. The bacon has to get wrapped up so for when I go to my daughter's house. And then I have all my cheeses and my nuts easy to see. For example, this is mozzarella. I want to make sure that I keep an eye on it, or I get it shredded up sooner rather than later so I can throw that into the freezer. But we usually have some type of a pizza meal once a week, so that'll get used up. Anyway, I have it done. There's the door stuff. Remember, this stuff at this end has to get used up. This is going to go in my meatloaf tonight, so I'm going to take that out. At least most of it's going in it. And there we go. So now on to the meal plan. Here's our dinner for tonight. I have the meatloaf, which I used up some of that celery, some bread, and the pasta sauce I had left over. Under that big pile of corn there is some mashed potatoes. But in the cream corn, I added 1 ear of the corn I need to use up that I cut off the cob. And that little bit of ketchup there came out of one of those bottles that needs to get used up. But this is a good way to use up little bits and pieces here and there. But I'm telling you, you could save so much money if you are really aware of what is in your freezer, in your refrigerator, and what needs to get used up. I hope this was helpful to somebody. You guys please give me a thumbs up and have a wonderful day.